Hello MBN, Shannon here from I Cook You Serve. I'm joined today with Samantha Cameron, who is our social media expert. So Samantha, when did you know that you were an entrepreneur?
Oh, blimey. I think it was when I was younger. I used to I used to sell strawberries at the side of
Ah,
the lay-by. And yeah, I used to love doing that. So I'd get up on the weekends, put in a lay-by by the farmer. And that's kind of where my passion was. It was kind of had this competition going with the other girls and boys that were doing it. So I was only, 13, 14 at the time. So I would always challenge myself to sell as many as I could. And I left school, went straight into working at 16. And it's always been, I've always kind of thought about what is the next thing, what can I kind of do. So I've had my own businesses now for 10 years.
yeah.
And each business has it's funny because it's pretty much been built online as well. And then the one business has kind of finished for me for one reason or another. It's opened another door. And that's where, that's pretty much where I am today, really, with the social media. So I'm a great believer in things happen for a reason. And it's sometimes things do have to kind of come to an end, even if it is sad or for whatever reason. But then that other door opens and then you find something that you love, which is what I do now.
Wonderful. Well, in 2017, the December, you opened your new door and you started your social media business. So tell us how that started. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
So it's quite a weird way of how it kind of started. So prior to me actually starting my social media business, I was actually already training network marketers and MLMs how to use social media to grow their business.
Yes.
Up until about 4 or 5 years ago, it was an industry which was pretty much face to face and not online.
Okay.
And I myself had a network marketing business 5 years ago, but with having a lot of children and small children at the time, I couldn't go out and do the natural face to face. So I kind of turned to social media because I'd used social media years before to promote my other businesses, and it had worked and I'd seen kind of what it could do. And that's what I was using. It was pretty much Facebook. And then I was approached by companies to basically say, well, how are you doing this? How are you actually using your social media in the right way, and how are you building your team so quickly? So I started on a freelance basis, then training other network marketers, consultants, how to basically start to use social media. And then in June 2017, that's when my whole world kind of changed. So this time 3 years ago, next week actually, I was bitten by a tick while we were away out in our caravan. And I kind of knew it was a tick that I'd been bitten by, and unfortunately I was told by my doctor that we don't get ticks in this country and that I would be fine. Sent me off with some antibiotics, and then in the October I was rushed into hospital because they thought I was having a stroke.
Wow.
And those symptoms were the symptoms of Lyme disease. And then I was, so that's when I then found out actually I had Lyme disease. And because I'd been left for so long, it got to a point of where they call it chronic.
Okay.
So I was ill pretty much for the rest of the year, but I couldn't do the freelancing anymore. I couldn't go out and do the social media. And I wasn't sure, from reading forums, I wasn't sure how the Lyme disease was going to affect me, because it affects people in different ways. And I kind of looked and thought, right, I've now got to find a way of how I can work or grow a business that is on my terms and not somebody else's. So that's when I kind of thought, well, actually, it wasn't me. It was my husband, Rich, that said, well, why don't you start your own business? So I kind of had this thing in the back of my head that nobody needed another social media trainer, expert, or somebody to help them with their social media.
Yes.
So I thought, oh, it's never going to work. There's too many people out there. And then I went to a networking event in December. I started to feel a little bit better. So I got out, went and did some networking, and it was quite a nice response that I got, that people were kind of like, oh my God, yes, I could really do with that, or I need help with my social media. Can you do the management side of things? So December was kind of being ill, being in bed, but then thinking, actually, where can I take this? So officially on the 1st of January, the business kind of started under To Motivate More. And that was from a management point of view, and then also then starting the social media training as well. And then in February this year, I decided to rebrand as myself. Now, To Motivate More is still there from a management point of view, but from a training point of view, it's now myself, with my new motto, keeping social simple.
Love it.
Because over the last 2.5 years, that's what I've basically been showing people, or businesses, how they can actually keep their social media really simple but get effective results. And I've loved it over the last 12 weeks, because I've been seeing people that I've been working with since we went into lockdown on the end of March, and I've been seeing their social media, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not taking all of the reward, because they've put the time and effort in, but it just gives me a massive smile just to think that these people are actually growing their businesses online, whereas 12 weeks ago they weren't even touching social media. So yeah, it's amazing what you can do in 3 months.
Wow, that is really phenomenal. Something that I love about all the services that you provide is how well they complement each other. So you do online one-to-one training, you have an online social media course that people can download and work through at their own time, which for me works really well, because I like to chop and change between what I'm doing. So an online course is absolutely perfect for that. You also have your monthly content download, which must be so helpful for the businesses that work with you, work alongside you, because it's just, they have that independence, but there's still that massive support there. And what better than a download to kind of keep it simple and kind of keep true to everything that you want to do. And then you have your management as well. So wow. So when you got started with the business, did you know that you wanted all of those different elements, or was it a natural progression? How do they all come together?
So I think originally the business was just going to be the scheduler and then the management side of things. And then what I kind of learned from the management side was, so from the social media management side I do, the clients that I look after, they are people that have no time, no inclination of doing their social media. And that works really, really well, because they're getting their social media presence out there by me doing it. But it also means that they can crack on and work on the areas of their business that they're good at. So it's a great way of outsourcing. Then the training then I knew that there was a need for training. So it was like, right, okay, let's put your skills to good use, let's do some training. And that's where my kind of focus is now. So you mentioned the online training program that there is, that is accessible and affordable for pretty much every single business out there, because it's just under £10, so £9.99, but it does allow you to watch it as you go, and you can pause it and just access it on a day-to-day basis if that's what you want to do. And then of course my my group trainings that I used to do face-to-face have now moved online. So yeah, the last 3 months have been an adjustment for me, but I suppose I had the bonus that my business was already an online business. It was just then tweaking it slightly and fitting homeschooling in as well, which has been a bit been a bit challenging, but we've got there now. We're in a good routine. So yeah, and then the planner kind of came about because I'd seen all these planners on Facebook. So, you see the sponsored ads and saying, download my planner. There's 365 days worth of content. So the scheduler actually gives you 365 days worth of content. So I didn't want a planner that would give content ideas for every single day, because the idea with my training is to get you to think about your own content, but with me actually kind of planting little seeds and helping you and supporting you along the way. But the thing is, by actually learning over a month, which is what the programs allow you to do, you can then come up with your own content ideas, and then over like the second month and the third month, you're doing everything yourself. Whereas if you've got a planner that's 12 months with something every single day, you get into a routine where it's kind of like, well, I'll just do that today. And then you don't express your business, and you're not expressing you as a person, because all you're doing is you're taking the lead from someone else's thoughts. So some people do kind of say to me, oh, why is it not filled out with ideas? And it's like, well, actually it's there as a planner to help you plan, because if you plan your social media, that's half the battle, and the rest just becomes really easy, she says.
Oh, I like the independence that all your services provide for your clients. And it doesn't matter what stage your business is at either, whether you are a massive, great big business and have lots of employees, or actually like you're a one-man band and you're just getting started with social media. I like that you cover the range, and I think that is I think it's such a good quality to have in a business, to be able to support people in that way. So yeah, I really like that. So something else that you're massive in is networking as well.
Yes.
So tell us, obviously you got started networking when you first started your business, but tell us a little bit more about your networking journey and where it's going.
Yeah, so for me, networking has been a massive part of my business. I even was networking when I worked in the corporate world. So going back 20 years ago, I was a BNI member then. So over the last 5-6 years, it's been more local networking, and networking is so key to any business and building relationships. So I do Northampton Business Network.
Yeah.
And before lockdown, I was doing 12 to 15 networking events a month. I love women only. Sorry, guys. I love women only networking, and I'm a member of Busy Women Networking. I'm actually an associate as well, and I help with. I'm kind of like the social media go-to for there as well. But for me, I do believe networking is great, but you've got to put that time and effort in. So you've got to be consistent with your networking. You've got to follow up. So whether it's, a one-to-one or just being connected, and social media allows you to do that, stay connected with people that you don't meet very often, because if you think about it, you mostly meet them half a dozen times a year. So social media allows you to do that, and I think that's why networking has worked for me, because I've built relationships with those people in the room, and then I've kind of taken it out of the room online and just made sure that I'm connected with those people, and people know exactly what it is that I do, because that's the number one mistake that a lot of businesses make, is they don't tell people what it is they do, or they don't tell them all the services. So that's where that really, really works. But we've gone online now with a lot of the networking groups. I'm actually networking at the moment. For June, I've got 21 networking events booked in. So I'm doing for the first time in years, I'm doing breakfast networking, because it's online. It's before the kids are getting up, it's before I need to start homeschooling, so it's absolutely perfect. And then I'm still doing my lunch ones. So yeah, I would, if you haven't been networking before, or you're not regular, or you feel you're not getting business from it, then it's worth just revisiting that, or getting on some online ones at the moment, because I think that's the way it's going to be until the end of the year.
Yeah. Something else I was really excited to see was that you are going to be one of the leaders on the business community women networking group. How exciting is that? I think that's absolutely brilliant.
It was lovely for Paul to ask me, and Paul has been, I've known Paul a long time, and I used to do Paul's networking when it was NN Connect many years ago. And unfortunately, due to children and school, it's just not possible to do because of the timing. So when he went online, it was like, this is a great opportunity for me to get back into these meetings. we were talking about a women's only, and he approached me and asked me if I'd like to be one of the co-leaders with Jill, and I was like, yeah, why not? So it's really nice to kind of be involved. So we've got our launch. The launch is the 17th of June. So if you're watching this after that, you've missed the boat, but they will be every other Wednesday at 10 o'clock until midday. No, sorry, no, they are. They're 10 till 12, sorry, getting confused with all the timings and everything. And they're £6 a meeting. And the launch, we've actually got over 20 ladies booked on already. So yeah, it is a good one. And then when we can get back out of lockdown, I will be, as I said, I'm an associate for Busy Women Networking, and I will be opening up the rugby networking. We did think about taking it online, but because we were due to launch actually next Wednesday, but of course because of lockdown, that's not going to happen. So we decided to push that back to September. It might go back to next year. We don't know yet. But yeah, that's really exciting to do as well.
Wonderful. That is such wonderful news. Like I'm so pleased that is another service that you're going to bring, and you'll be able to reach even more businesses. So another question that I've been burning to ask you is, with the groups that you run, all of the services that you provide, networking blogs, and all of the other homeschooling extras, and simply day-to-day life, how do you manage your time? What is your secret to getting through everything that you do? Because everything you do is also at such a high quality as well. It's not just scraping by and getting it done like down to the wire. So yes, share with us.
My secret is this. It's my diary, my file of facts. Everything is written down on that. Oh, and also these post-it notes. Everything has to get written down. Our house is very, very regimented, and it's about routine and just making sure that everything's done, but there's the balance. And that's what I think I really love about lockdown at the moment, because it has given me time back, because I'm not traveling to trainings and networking, and yeah, there's some peace and harmony in the house as well, which is quite lovely. But yeah, it is just about planning and time management, and just kind of focusing on with the job and making sure that there's not many distractions and everything else. So yeah, it's a full-time job, and I'm up early in the morning. I won't say that I go to bed late, because I try and be in bed by 10, because I am up early in the mornings. But yeah, I think my biggest tip for anybody is, if you've got a things to do list, just limit that list. You know, if you can only do 5 items in one day, just do 5 and carry them on for the day in the day. And that's pretty much what I do. I write everything down on my things to do list for that day, but then I'll look at it and go, actually, can I do that on Friday, or could that be done at the weekend? Because I don't work weekends. I kind of try not to kind of get into the work mode for then. So yeah, so I think it's just thinking what needs to be done today and what can be pushed forward. But yeah, it's some days I can think to myself, what on earth am I doing? And gin is my best friend at the moment. So
I think that is the case with lots of people.
Yes.
Well, thank you for joining us today. How can people get in touch with you?
So you can get in contact with me via all social media platforms, so Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and LinkedIn. You can go to my website, which is samanthacameronsocial.co.uk or .com. You can literally email me. So email is hello@samanthacameronsocial.co.uk. But yeah, you'll find me on social media very, very easily. If you need any help at all, just reach out, because people message me asking me all weird and wonderful questions about social media, and I'm always happy to help. And if I've got my support group as well on Facebook, which is free, and anybody is welcome to join that. We've got over 1,000 members in there now. I run 2 free trainings in there every single week, and from next week we've got Be My Guest starting. So that's basically people coming into the group, and they're going to be doing a half an hour session on different things. So we've got all sorts of people coming in, but yeah, so we're going to have 2 people a week. I was hoping just to have one, one, but I've had such a great response that it's going to be 2 people a week now. But no, I'm really, really looking forward to that, because it would just give some diversity to the group as well.
Nice. Well, I look forward to seeing the trainings. I will put some links in the caption above for people to follow up with. But yeah, thank you for joining us today.
No, thank you for inviting me on.
Wonderful. Take care.